All right, last piece here I want to tell you about is guns. Look who's leading the charge now to dismantle the Second Amendment. It's this guy.
I think I have a responsibility, and I think you and all of your viewers have responsibilities to try to make this country safer for our families and for each other. And if I can do that by spending some money and taking the NRA from being the only voice to being one of the voices so the public can really understand the issues, then I think my money would be well spent, and I think I have an obligation to do that.
So you'll spend money on ads?
We're starting to run ads today or tomorrow.
Okay. Please pray for me as we get into writing this speech for the NRA convention in about a month from now. I'm going down. I'm going to give the keynote address at probably the most important NRA convention of all time. And boy, I have a lot to say. I'm not sure I should say all of it, but here's a guy who views himself as a one-man warrior versus the special interests of the NRA. Okay, let's go over this. The NRA is a group with about 5 million members. Mayor McFascist is one person with $30 billion. So you know, the $30 billion, more than George Soros, and a buttload more than the Koch brothers. So which one, the 5 million or the one, is about the special interests? Which one's about the Constitution? One with 5 million supporters, one with giant bank accounts. Now, to be fair to Mayor McFascist, he also has Hollywood on his side. And, I mean, there's really a group of people that are, I mean, who could be more in step with mainstream American values than a Canadian in Hollywood? Jim Carrey is the latest boob to actually support gun control. And he released a parody song. Oh, look, and he's mocking country western music and hee-haw. He released this on the website Funny or Die, and after watching the painful 5 minutes and 56 seconds of this atrocity, attempted comedy, I think it's clearly or die for this one. He called the song Cold Dead Hands, and in it he mocks Charlton Heston. He also goes on and says, Cold Dead Hand is about you heartless MFers unwilling to bend for the safety of our kids. Yep, that's me. I say, screw the kids, Jim. Sorry if you're offended. Jim, I'm not offended, but I'm not surprised that you're blinded by the lights in your eyes. You don't see the hypocrisy here? I mean, in your upcoming film, Kick-Ass 2, that's a gun in your hand. Nor the fact that you allegedly have armed bodyguards to keep you safe. You at home? No, you're not important enough to have armed bodyguards. Of course you could have them. You just have to pay for them. What's the problem? He's paying for them. Dana Lash tweeted about this, and after absolutely demolishing him, he said this over the weekend. I'd like to respond to all the conservative pundits out there personally, but I'm far too busy not stumping for the gun companies. Yeah. What are you implying, you dope? That we're getting kickbacks from Beretta? Feel like I'm at the end of Scooby-Doo, and I would have gotten away for it too if it wasn't for that pesky kid. They make a product that we use. I mean, was Sally Struthers stumping for the food companies? Is that what, or did she see a bigger picture? No pun intended. Jim. Look, let's be honest with each other. I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. It was a bad weekend for you. Bad weekend for me. I had to put my dog down. You had a pretty big box office bomb. And, you know, Burt Wonderstone, it sounded good. I'm thinking that maybe we should send it to Syria. Then they'll have the biggest bomb in the Middle East. But let me explain this to you nice and slow, because I speak Canadian. I proudly give the money to the NRA that I give, because the NRA is standing up for the Constitution when nobody else will. And they work for us. You see, this is the way the government is supposed to be, at least here in America. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but here in America, the government works for us. But see, Canadians, like you, come down here and try to convince us, and people in, universities, and other morons, they try to convince people that you work for the government. But that's not how it works. Now, the gun lobby There's 5 million of us. They work for us. See, we're not their puppets. They're standing up to the people like you because we don't have the money that Hollywood and Bloomberg and everybody else has. Now, I know that's how you feel about President Obama, and I and millions of others, don't. I mean, I don't believe that government knows better than me. And I do believe, as Mayor Bloomberg, doesn't, that the government is infringing on the right of my freedom.
I do not think we should ban most things. I do think there are certain times we should infringe on your freedom.
Oh, he does believe that we should infringe on rights. You see, I believe in the individual. He believes in himself. I believe in the individual for liberty. I believe in the individual freedom to live my life and you live your life. You want to make funny faces like, nah, that's cool. It works for you. It did for a while. You do it. Do everything you want as you see fit, as long as it neither picks my pocket nor breaks my leg. That's the way it works. If you or I make poor choices, then I believe we have to have maximum personal responsibility and live with the consequences of those choices. I'm not a puppet. I'm not looking for a puppet. I'm a man, and I really just want to be left alone so I can be busy helping others and creating jobs. But thanks for the Canadian sidebar there. I appreciate it. The American Constitution gives us the right, and I will defend it. And I'll look for all like-minded Americans that will stand against Mr., take your soda away because it's bad for people. You see, a peaceful government is not the norm in human history. It's a fluke. It's a freak. What keeps a government in check is a responsible citizenry, which we don't really have very much. An educated people. The teachers' unions and the universities pretty much taking care of that one. Or a media that is responsible and tethers themselves to the truth. I haven't had that one for quite some time either. And people willing to stand up to the power of the man, as long as the man is trying to violate principles. Now, I thought that you would have been with us on that last one. I don't know how you anti-fascist, anti-controlling government people suddenly have found yourself either in bed with or actually playing the role of the man. But really, you should look at yourself in the mirror. I mean, without making all those funny faces that you do that were so funny about 15 years ago. The rest of us are busy protecting the right to defend ourselves, especially when the government is going all top down, bottom up, and inside out, especially on the Second Amendment. And what's really strange is they are infringing and they are mocking top down. At the same time they're doing that and flipping the Constitution, turning things inside out, they're trying to take away our right to defend ourselves. At the same time, they're threatening to cut back police and releasing prisoners in the name of sequester. So what would be the result? What would be the result of releasing prisoners and also all of the policies that they have from finances and all of the really pissed off Arabs in the world? What do you think is going to happen? Chaos, fear, crime.